If you want to fix your novel's pacing issues in minutes, stop reading books on writing and go buy a pack of these instead. Have you ever read your writing and thought,
Man, this seemed so much better in my head.
maybe the problem isn't your story idea, maybe it's your eyes? You see, we all suffer from the curse of knowledge. Because you know your story so well, as you're rereading it, your brain autocorrects the text, making you physically blind to the boring parts that are killing your momentum. But what if we could turn those invisible errors into bright visual patterns you could diagnose from across the room? In this video, I'm going to teach you the traffic light system. It's a method I use with clients to instantly spot the 3 walls of death that are destroying your story's momentum, and we're going to fix them in minutes. I'll also show you exactly how I used this system to polish my upcoming novel, The River Electric, and how you can use it to write just like your favorite author. To make this practical, let's look at the first page of The River Electric. We're going to put it through the Stoplight System to see what's really happening. First, the green text. This is dialogue. It's the easiest to spot because it's all in quotation marks. Dialogue is the first of our colors that happen in real time in your story. When characters speak, the clock is ticking, and the reader feels like they are in the scene right now. Next, the yellow text. This is action and scenery. Think of this like a movie director shouting, "Action!" If a video camera can pick it up, it's yellow. This category includes all 5 senses, so think of it like a magic camera that can also pick up smells, taste, and touch. So we highlight lines with physical actions, like Eustace hesitantly grabbed the glass with his fingertips and examined the sludge. And we also highlight what the camera sees, like a brief flicker of candlelight revealed the woman's nose. It was a really beautiful nose, like a triangle kicking its leg up. Just like our green dialogue, yellow happens in real time, and it also happens in a real space. This movie scene that we're filming is moving forward. And finally, the red text is the internal. This is everything happening inside someone's head. So this could be a character's thoughts or feelings, or it could be the narrator's summaries. It could be flashbacks or world-building details. Basically, if you have left the moment in time and space where the characters currently are acting out their lives, you've moved into the internal. And it's like hitting the pause button on your movie. So for what we highlight as red, for example, we're going to highlight thoughts like, no God-fearing firefighter would ever allow a situation like this. And we highlight exposition like, most Arcanes left this hellhole of Atlanta before they were 50, well before they sprouted gray. And we highlight summaries of events outside of the present time, like, so the evening ended with the Awakener throwing candlesticks at him, screaming accusations, chucking Beetlejuice against the wall like pop art. Now, I said red pauses the story, but that doesn't mean red is bad. It's the one thing books can do that movies can't. With the internal, we get to deeply know our character's inner life. But because red pauses the story, if you have too much of it, your reader feels like the movie stopped playing. And that's when they get bored and close the book. Now, the first time you try this, you're gonna get stuck. You'll hit a sentence and think, wait, is this a description or is this a thought? So to stop you from guessing, I've created a cheat sheet with a description of each color. I've also highlighted the entire preface of my novel, so you can see my own highlighting decisions if you're still stuck. You can download the cheat sheet in the description. So next, once you've highlighted your chapter, now you need to look for long sections of unbroken color. I call these the 3 walls of death, because they are likely to confuse or bore your reader. In fact, many of the writing errors you may have heard of before look visually like one of these 3 walls. And the first one is the most deceptive because it looks like the story is moving fast, but it's actually empty. Diagnosis number 1 is the green wall. This is where you have page after page of dialogue with zero action or thought. Books on the craft of writing call this white room syndrome or floating head syndrome. With the green wall, because you haven't described the world or the character's internal reactions, the reader loses their anchor. They can't see the movie anymore. They just hear voices in a void. So to fix this, you need to smash through that green wall by sprinkling in some yellow action to ground the characters in a physical space. Diagnosis number 2 is the yellow wall. This is the error of overwriting. This usually happens when you describe a series of actions like an instruction manual. Like this, for instance. He cut Emily off mid-speech, stood up from his chair, walked over to the window, unlatched the lock, and tried to force open a window that had been locked in place by layers of paint. But it wouldn't open, and Emily could see him getting madder by the minute. This is giving unnecessary details that don't add to the story, and the writer also hasn't associated these actions with any kind of emotion. Compare it to this, where the actions feel like they have meaning because they're tied to the dialogue and the character's internal feelings. Wait. He waved a hand and crossed the room to the kitchen window. He tried to open it, but it wouldn't move. With both hands, he gripped the frame and pulled harder, his face turning red. I swear they painted these shut on purpose. Jake, this is important, Emily said. His shoulders tensed, and he gave the window one more unsuccessful shove before spinning around. You want to tell me what's so goddamn urgent it can't wait 30 seconds? Notice in the rewrite, we don't care about the window, we care about Jake and Emily's conflict. That's using yellow text with purpose. Yellow walls often mean no character depth. And finally, we have the most common killer of all, the red wall. Almost every single one of my clients has a red wall, like this one, for instance, and this one. The red wall is the info dump, and it grinds the story to a halt like a red traffic light in rush hour. Remember, red text leaves the scene, the actual time and place where the characters are living, which means it pauses the story. So again, it's not that pausing is bad. The red text is often where the depth happens. It gives the character a chance to react to things that have just happened, and it allows the reader to rest and digest after story action too. But too much red and your novel will drag. So when you see a red wall, ask yourself, am I summarizing the story when I should play it out on the page instead? Am I explaining things to the reader that I could show them dramatically? Playing out the drama is almost always the right answer. So you found your walls, but that brings us to the final problem. How do you know what the perfect balance should be? Is there a golden ratio of colors that guarantees a bestseller? Well, the truth is no, because look at this. This is 2 pages from J.R.R. Tolkien. It's heavy on the red because high fantasy often uses the storytelling tone of a distant narrator to create the vibe. If you stripped this out, it wouldn't feel epic. But this, on the other hand, is Stephen King. It's almost entirely green because King likes to use dialogue to establish empathy with the reader and to make the pages turn quickly. If you put Tolkien's distant narration into a thriller, you'd kill the suspense instantly. The balance of colors isn't a rule, it's the DNA of your writing style. So here is the fastest way to find your perfect balance. Don't guess. Steal instead. Take 5 pages from your favorite author, the one you want to write like, and highlight them. Then place their pages right next to yours and compare the difference. If their page is a mix of green and yellow and yours is a solid wall of red, simply cut out the red or at least break it up with green and yellow until your page looks like theirs. You're essentially calibrating your compass to match the masters. And by the way, you will notice that sometimes your heroes break these rules. Sometimes it's because they're making mistakes, but often they break the rules on purpose for effect. And once you master the stoplight system, you can too. So now you know how to color code your prose so it flows. But even the most well-balanced writing won't save a chapter that readers are too bored to finish. You need a framework that makes readers hungry to finish every chapter and immediately turn to the next one. I break down exactly how to do that in this video right here, so click that now and I'll see you there.